Peace. Islam. Just trying out this new little, what they call them, little recording sticks. Anyway, I'm just feeling real mighty. Got some real good energy. A lot of amazing things are happening. And just wanted to be able to share with the people. You know, we're living in a time where a lot of information is going around. You know, I'm always carrying my incense out here with Mushroom, you know. He's a sniffologist. He checks into all of the different things that's happening on the earthly plane while we maintain everything that's happening on a spiritual plane. Come on. So, yeah, I'm just feeling good. I'm looking at how you know, we as people, we got to start looking at things that's more in tune with it, not like a right now, because right now don't exist. Because if I grab right now, by the time I got to share it with somebody else, it would have been already happened. It ain't fresh. It ain't new. You know, we want to be able to experience, you know, a newness all the time. What am I talking about? I don't know. I'm just feeling great, y'all. You know, it's a mighty day. Islam. Happy holy day. You know, living in different parts of the world, you have different issues that you have to deal with. So in short, you know, right now, living in a spiritual state that doesn't have time attached to it. You have to connect yourself with bloodline. And with bloodline, first things a lot of people, they come into contact with is like, you know, they want to know if they indigenous and this and that. But until you open up the book and start to read, and then you have to be able to manifest in action in real time the things that you hear. Y'all hear them birds? We experience that if we only listen to things and not necessarily, come on, you know, not necessarily read, you know, because when you write it down, it's like when the rock hit the planet, bam, it left its composite into the soil. And so the same way when we came here as spiritual beings having human experiences, the fleshly, the body is the bam, you know. You landed into the physical manifestation of what you are and who you are. Boy, I just enjoy, I enjoy being out in nature. And, you know, listening to the different sounds. And, you know, you can't really hear all of the creatures, so the symphony has been blocked by a lot of buildings. You know, like Bob Marley said, in the concrete jungle, you know. You know, so when we come down into the flesh, into the body, you know, then we are shared by two worlds. You know, in short, it's like people will say something like, you know, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Okay, that's everything. The dog will say, I'm a dog. I'm a spiritual being having a dog experience. But it's really not giving you the detail of what the actual reality is. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times we need to be able to explore, why am I here? How did I get here? So anyway, in short, you deal with mathematics. And you say, what you talking about? Okay, you got things that you see outside your eyes, and there's things that's inside of your, what you would call your mind or your thoughts or whatever. That's your inner being. That's two different fields. They happening at the same time. And so I deal with like yin yang or the inner out, as above, so below, because both of them are interceding with each other. And they both have two relevant fields that's operating simultaneously. And so a lot of times we just we get caught up in the different programming. Gram is like when something is weight, a program. And you've been programmed. You say programmed by what? By what you've been seeing. What you've been seeing starts to give way to your subconscious mind, or the other way around, either way you want to look at it. Your subconscious mind can make you start determining what your perception is. And then sometimes your perception can be influencing your subconscious mind. Now, what's happening all the time is if you don't master, if you don't master your inner self, your true you. What is your true you? Sometimes it's unknown. And that's what life is about, is trying to figure it out. But when you are people that's been living in a society, and in that society, you've been judged, or you trying to figure it out, but then you start feeling pressures. It's real symbolic to a seed that's been planted into the ground, into the soil. Look at these beautiful flowers. Check this out. You like a seed planted into the soil. There's a whole lot of bees around here at the same time. But nonetheless, you a seed. Planted into the soil. Come on. And so what a seed feels like, it feels like it's being compressed by the soil. Because something in it is like a soul, ill, or a L, or electricity, soil. I'm trying to figure out this little device right here. So a lot of times while you are looking at, we run across the street in the red light. So a lot of times when you're looking at things that appear to be what your reality is, you merely just you're fumbling through, like looking through pages. And you're looking through the different things that your subconscious mind and your conscious mind is trying to figure out. Remember, there's two sides to everything, right? So to maintain balance, you got to know who you are. What am I talking about? What am I saying? What am I really getting to? What I'm getting to is that you have to be what your forefathers was and what your ancestors have been. When I looked at my birth certificate, it says Negro. And so for me, I'm like, Negro, that sounds kind of offensive based on the modern day terminology. So I started looking up, well, who are the Negroes? And then I said, well, Negro ain't attached to no land. There's no Negro land. And then I said, what is black? I started looking up black. And I said, that's not a people. There's no black land. And I was looking at colored. And that color said it's artificial, it's not real. So who are we? You know, my mom and my dad are already gone. They was praising Jesus their whole life. So my family's still praising him. Remember, there's two sides to everything. So I said, inside of each of us, we have a choice of whether we're going to go one way or the other. We're going to either reveal it or we're going to hold it in. But at the same time, some of us all share something. You know, through meditation and different sources, I realized that we are one soul, one soil, one electricity. And so I was like, if we're not what we've been called, then what are we? How does that come to reality? How do we bear witness to our true selves if we've always been defined by something outside of us? And so long story short, what I'm saying is you have to do the research and the study. The study means if you're interested, the interest, that's the first thing about trusting yourself. You got to trust. And they have trust set up. You got to have an interest in why you do what you do. Why do you go after what you go after? Because the interest is going to develop the energy that's going to propel the wheel. If you don't have a true interest in knowing who you are, then by scientific and evidence of now moments, you're going to become material being pushed by the waves of matter. But if you decide that you have a will, you have a way, you have something you want to achieve, then you have to achieve that. You got to achieve that. For no one else but for yourself. And that's what knowledge itself is. It's like when you know who you are, then your natural wheels turn on. This is the part where Marshall, come here. Come here. You about to be put back on this thing. Come here. Come on. Come on. Oh, you calm down. This way. Come here. Come here. Come on. Whoa. Now what's funny is come here. Mushroom is come here. Y'all see how little he is, right? Come here. Come here. But like him, he don't recognize his body size. But he's on pure energy. You know, you can't program that out. You know, you can get animals, you can train them to do certain things, but you can't take that connection that they have with the universe, with the natural force. And so because we live in society, it's like they got this conceptual way of how everything is perceived. And so it's like in nature, it's like, hey, let him bark, let him do what he's supposed to do. But then we live in this world where you got to have rules and you got to have leashes and things. It's like everything is being dictated by who? By something that wants to control you. What am I getting to? The clock is ticking. The time is up. If you don't know who you are, if you got a navel in your belly button, last time you pull your shirt up or reach down and touch on your belly, if you got a navel, that means you got a mother. And that mother is connecting to an umbilical cord. And that umbilical cord goes consistently. As if a snake swallowing a tail, you just changing skin. She give you new skin and she begin again. It's a continuum. If you got a navel, that means you got a nation. That means you were navigating electricity in your mama's womb. You was born inside of some flesh. You understand? Do you understand? You understand? You understand? You vibrate? Free queen, see? The free queen. They say, oh, the queen is a whore. Well, you do what you do with the words. I did with ideas. Ideas don't change. They vibrate, and they create a vibrance of different levels, of different realms, different chakras, different frequencies, and different energies that give you what you use in your matrix game as calling the field, what you feel, the field of senses. You become attracted to the field of senses But don't lose your point. Don't lose your focus. Don't lose your goal. Don't lose your holistic portion of yourself. And so in modern day, what's on the paper is that we are Moors. Yeah, I'm jumping around now, and pay attention. If you sleep, if you can accept being everything that you is not, then it's time for you to pay attention to what you are. And as people, we are Moors. Moors all over the globe. Moors means you navigated in your mama's womb, just in short. Mushroom, come on. Come on. Woo, chi-chi. And so if you navigated in your mama's womb, then that means you are a part of this earth. You are part of this creation. And the longer you've been in this creation, the more melanin and more absorbed nutrients in your flesh and your skin and your soil. I don't give a damn about a racist, because I can find where racists begin. I deal with spiritual energy. It don't have no beginning nor end. It's a continuum. I only deal with continuums. If you find me on a point, then that means you got an opposite. I already killed you before you start. Ill. Ill. That don't mean death. It ain't no such thing as death. Death is a mind that got absent of one side. If you lopsided today, you're not going to understand the understanding of balance. We're Moorish American nationals. We are on our own land, on our own soil. Home. Every sound, every energy, every frequency, every vibration, everything that's laid within the soil of the land that vibrates around me. I don't see what you see in your eyes, because I learned when I was young. He going out there, right? Y'all don't understand. This is a mighty day. I'm just dropping a little of this and that. If all the rain came, you'll call it a tsunami. And the Aquarian age knowledge is coming. There's beings, there's species, there's people that have been here eons. Eon. Give us many names. Come here. Mushroom having a ball. I gotta allow nature to happen. And we gotta allow ourselves to still be a part of nature. Everybody wants to be free. And freedom is not something you can capture. If you can capture it, then it's lopsided. I go by being a sphere within a sphere, a will within a will, like Ezekiel's will. That means that within what I am, there's something within it, and it goes on infinitum. And then what you see goes outside of what you see, and it gets larger and larger to infinitum. And those wills connect to themselves. The cells, like you got 1 billion cells on your body. Stop all the BS. The 219. 2 is B in the alphabet and 19 is S. The BS. Stop that. You can't teach me. I'm vibrating. If I'm here already, that means I graduated. I came out the womb of the universal melanated stargate. My mama, my mother. And she came from her mother, and her mother, and her mother, and her mother, ha, mother, and all of the matters, and the mathematics, and the M13 in the alphabet. The one understood the three. From one came the many. And what's in us is further than us, is Father, it's further than us. It's unable to grasp, it's a balance. And when you land, you in Mama, but you can't stand in Mama, because Mama, like the beautiful soil, she pushes all of her love and her vegetation and the things that vegetated, vibrated inside like a seed in the soil and made it to circumference room. And then boom, out the crown of the head came that stimulation. And then bloosh, out of them shoulders, them arms. You gathered the arms of the people in this mighty land. And the arms gathered all the rays of the sunlight energy that was beaming from the North Star Sirius, pulling us magnetically, because the light is ahead of us. I always tell people, I say, we actually are 3 days ahead of ourselves and what this time is. So when we walking, I said, it's like my mind is spitting out gold bricks out of my pineal gland like 2 braids, and those bricks are flowing way above my head and above me, and then they lay down in front of me, and I'm walking on the yellow brick road because I already been to Oz. Now I'm creating the gold bricks that I walk on, and the gold bricks is the currency. And you reflected back on my mind that I'm sharing with you verbally like the moon. So gold and silver. Man, you talking all that, what they call it today? That's some pseudoscience. I'm speaking the breath, the fire. Our spirit is in this whole globe of energy all around me. I have not given myself a measurement, and neither should you. But if you do anything, if you wake up and you find yourself in a land where the people are being held captive, you have a natural duty as you breathe to be free. You have a natural duty to find out who you are. And if you got a navel, that means you got a nation. And mine is a Moorish American national. I breathe this. I live this. I am unlimited. If you can see my body, tell me the last time one of your cells on your body that die and be born every day. Which one did you give a funeral to? Which one of your cells on your body do you give mourning when they pass? Or do you know that they are all particles around you, around youth? Around youth is a seed in the mama's womb, around youth. And then you say, from a telescope, telling what you scope, the tell of what you scope, you can't see none of the humans on the planet because we just like the cells on your body. You don't see it, so we can't be significant that way. Wake up, get your mind up, get your grind up, get your mind up. Am I talking too fast? There's many law books, Black Law's Dictionary. There's a lot of literature. You can go on YouTube and type it by finger. You have to want it. If you want it, the ancestors will bring it to you. If you don't want it, don't complain to the people that's moving because you're always going to catch the waves. And the people that catch waves, they react and respond like slaves. Let me say that again. The people that react to the ones making the waves respond and react like slaves. You have to be accountable today. You are the only one that can save yourself. The death that you have to raise yourself from today is a mental death. We went through the physical death. They were so kindly enough to show you that, yeah, they will hack you down and chop your bodies up because you get too much. You know, if you get too many rats in the house, you got to exterminate them. Not that you hate the mouse or nothing like that, but, you know, you don't want them to take over your environment. That's what you call the fleshly nature. But at some point, the people have to awaken. You know, if you just read, man, there's so much knowledge out there. There's like castles and different mosques and different amazing artworks and buildings. See, I'm an artist. I meditate. I do mantras. You know, I'm completely connected to everything that is because I take a full holistic vibration and frequency within that. I don't lean to one side or the other because I will be lopsided. And once you get to understand that, you become into your natural self. You actually become free. This is kind of interesting. We live in a time where, oh, wait, I got to show y'all these beautiful trees. Hold on. Look at that. Excuse the little electric headlights in there. And then you see this like, this Coliseum like stadium over here. So listen, you got one time around in this physical flesh to awaken. The knowledge is all around you. The lies have been buried. If you do the knowledge, wherever you find yourself, accept it. And you have to be it. Because if you don't be yourself, somebody else will use your energy as like a battery. Come here. Put that down. Put that down. See, see, I'm about to chase him now. He. See, it's like our people. It's like, we can wake them up, but they always want to hold on, like Mushroom right now. I don't allow him to eat some bones and things like that. Like naturally, dogs can do that. But since they have altered the dog, he's a Chihuahua, and these smaller dogs, certain stuff they can't eat, they can't handle. And since they ain't free, they can't learn it. And so like our people, when we don't realize how beautiful and how abundant we are as people, and when we get brought down into depression or oppression, it's like the seed don't realize, like, man, I used to fly amongst the angels and the stars free, like unbound energy. And when you came down through Mother and she brought you through the Stargate, she said, I like the way that energy out there flow. Let me bring that in here and let me put it around some flesh and let it have an existence. That's what we are. We got sucked into the matter because something attracted us, and we came here. And we came here to find ourselves. It's a beautiful day, people. It's a beautiful day. So I'll be doing a little more. I was just really checking out this little, what they call it, the something stick, the little thing you put your phone on. And so that way I can burn my incense. I can walk Mushroom, and I can share with the love of the Moors and the beautiful humanity where we at today. It's a mighty day. If you want it, you're going to get it. If you ignore it, it's going to get you. Peace. Islam.